everyone. I am making yet another card with our lovely Outdoor BBQ stamp set. I am making a different stamp set every week in March. I'm featuring it and showing you the different cards so that you can see some of the versatility you can do with different stamps. So I'm showing you another card you can make with this. You've already probably heard my other video. This stamp set does not have designer series paper or die cuts. So this one makes this one a little different, but it's actually a really good stamp set if you're a beginner and you don't want to invest. You can still make beautiful cards and not have a die cut machine or designer series paper. Or, as in the case of this card, I introduced a different designer series paper, and you can see that right there. And that is actually from the Country Club Designer Series paper. You can kind of see it here. The back side of this paper legitimately has golf balls and tees on it. And you'll see me use this paper probably not this month, but very soon in an upcoming video because I really like this one as well. So I'm going to start our card. I used mango. I originally started with yellow, Daffodil Delight, but the reds and the blues didn't mix the way I thought they would. So I found mango was just the right amount of like yellow and orange that it looked really nice. So the mango is 8.5 by 5.5 inches. I'm just going to fold that in half. And then, of course, you have your Whisper White. You'll need a 5-inch by like 3 3/4. And that is for the inside. So if you want to stamp a greeting on the inside, I always recommend that you stamp first. I don't. I leave mine blank for the most part. Occasionally, I stamp the inside. And I go ahead and I put that in. And that's just to give it a nice polished and finished look, as you can see. Okay, so this card comes along pretty quickly. What I have here is I took some of that Country Club DSP and I cut this. This is actually 6 inches by 1.5 inches, if I remember. Yeah, by 1.5 inches. So what I did is I am putting this in the middle. Now, I know that you've probably seen on some of my videos that I didn't cut this exactly. And I do that on purpose because sometimes I change my mind. So I'm just going to run some adhesive down. Sometimes I change my mind on whether I want it to be a banner or if I want it to be the full length. So I find it's best just to always cut it out. And go ahead to the width I want, but leave the other. And then I'm just going to take my snips. And if you don't have a pair of these snips, I'm telling you, they are sharp. I have cut so many things with these and still they have stayed sharp. I'm like super surprised. So if you can see on this, I've cut it down to what I want. Now, I don't want you to think that this has gone to waste, because what I did is I took my 1.5 inch punch from Stampin Up and I stamped out 2 circles. So I did have to use another one, but I made several of these. So I went ahead and stamped these out ahead of time, save time. And my whole idea was that these would almost look like cutouts. Now, you could always modify this card and put it sideways if you wanted, but I didn't do that. That's also why I don't cut my paper exactly, because sometimes I make a card that looks like this. So, you know, it's just really up to you what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and tack these down. Alrighty. And I apologize for noises and stuff going on. My dishwasher is super noisy and I craft at my kitchen table because we have limited space. So, alright, so I've got my 2 little circles on, and so what I did is I took this stamp set and I went ahead, and I've already done this, but I stamped out this and I stamped out the ketchup or mustard bottle. It could be either one. You can kind of see here, I did it in the Poppy Parade because I'm using Poppy Parade in this card. So I wanted them to match. And then I just cut them out. You know, just fuzzy cut is what we call it. And I missed a little corner. It was a little sharp. You could also make this mustard. If you didn't want to do the burger and you wanted to do a mustard bottle, you could certainly use your Daffodil Delight, or the crushed curry would look good too. And I am using the mini dimensionals to attach these little guys because this little bottle is so tiny. And those are sticking to my fingers real good. And you can have it tilt either way you want. Maybe you want to tilt the other way. You can use a regular dimensional on this one because it's a little larger. And all I did was color this burger in. You can use our Stampin' blends or our Stampin' Right markers, but I just used Prismacolor colored pencils. That's what my class used. Now look, we're almost completely done with this card. We just got to add a few more elements here. So I took the Poppy Parade, which is going to match my ketchup here. And this is 4 inches by 1 1/4 inch. And what I'm doing is I am going to go ahead. I'm using my banner punch. Probably the most used punch that I have. I recommend that you actually stamp it up like this so you can put the paper in and properly get the length that you want. Okay. Oh, got caught on my sleeve. I'm cold today. Alrighty. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I'm using a lot of adhesive today. Some days I do that. I call it the lazy man's adhesive. And now I've got this piece of Whisper white paper here. It's additional little paper, and it's 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my phrase on there. And I am using the G block, the little G clear block. And remember, one of the tips you can do is you set your block down and then you line it up on one of the lines for grid paper. Grid paper is a great little thing and it's disposable. And it's two-sided. So once you're done with 2 sides, and it has you can't see a lot, maybe you can. It has like a ruler on the top and bottom and side. So it is super helpful when I'm making these videos. So I'm going to ink up my, and whenever I want to try and stamp straight, and I want to make that fairly like that, and we'll see if it turns out. It did, yay. Sometimes I have to stamp 2 or 3 times to get it to stamp the way I want. Now I'm bringing back in that banner punch, which has a piece of red in it. And I am wanting to stamp to punch that out. And I think I like where this is placed. And I'm going to glue that down. Now if you want that to pop out, you can of course use a dimensional. And that will be fine too. And I'm just gonna measure up just like that. Now, it could be done. Every now and then I like to add a little something to my card just to make it extra. One of my friends even told me on my cards, "You are so extra. You feel like you have to do extra." And I do kind of go overboard sometimes, and sometimes I just like it. But I put a little piece of twine there, and it doesn't have to go there. You don't have to use it at all. In fact, I went ahead and made my little bow, but I want to show you how to make this bow because it's easy, and it's one of the things in my class people like struggle with. I can't decide if I like with or without the bow. I'm thinking I like it without right now. When I made it, I didn't like it without, but I still want to show you how to make the bow. So baker's twine can be used for a lot, and you get a lot. It goes a long way. So I'm just going to cut a length about 4 inches off, and this is what I'm going to use to tie it. This isn't going to be what you use. You're going to put that off to the side. In fact, I'll flip this card over so you can see what I'm doing. To make a bow, I just take 3 of my fingers. I'm going to hold that down and I'm going to wrap it around a few times. Usually I do 4 or 5 times, and I always want to bring it back so that's opposite. So I started here, I ended here. Then I want to take my snips and I'm going to snip. I'm going to move my baker's twine. Slide your fingers out. And then you are going to tie a knot. You're just going to, and it's super easy. I think I like this one better than the one I made prior. You're just going to tie a little knot, and you've kind of made a little faux bow here. And you can trim any excess off. Just like that. Flip my card back over. Yeah, I think it needs it now. See? Now I am using glue dots. Glue dots are super easy to use for this. It's what I recommend for this type of thing because the other is just too messy. And I don't know if you can see. I've put the glue dot on. It's just a tiny little dot. And maybe you want to put 2 on to be more secure. That's totally up to you. And then your card's done. Super easy. I will be posting in the comments all the measurements and all the items that I used in case you want to purchase any, or you want to make this card yourself with the supplies you already have. If you do want to order, I'm going to give you this hostess code. This hostess code is good through the 28th. I want to encourage you to like and share my video. Each like and each share will get you entered into a drawing for a free pack of dimensionals. I'm doing that drawing March 30th. So go ahead and like and share my video. If you have any questions, of course, post those in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And have a good time. Happy stamping!